that's ridiculous just for one thing. Not only ball pythons were banned, Bosque monitors and peninsula cutters were banned as well. Yes, they are banned and you cannot keep them anymore. They performed a risk assessment and they realized that they were alien invasive species in Spain, which is totally ridiculous. And they should have performed a risk assessment, but the risk assessment was really poor, and that was performed by a single person who didn't even sign the risk assessment. So we don't really know who it was. In 2016, somebody performed that risk analysis and it stayed in a drawer for a long time. But it was at the beginning of 2019 that somebody realized that that analysis was there and that a committee thought that this species should be banned. And the perfect cocktail appeared because there was somebody interested in banning this species. So he had the power to do it, and he did it. Back in 2018, somebody who was just let's say a normal civil servant that was almost doing nothing in the ministry became responsible for that. I don't really know if he's an animal rights person, but I'm quite aware that he is a eco-activist. So this person is very positioned against reptile keeping or any other animal keeping because he thinks that we are dangerous for biodiversity. So that person thinks that all kinds of animal keeping should be banned, and there should be a very limited positive list of animals that should be kept in Spain. This person thought that the best way to stop people from keeping animals was to include the species in the alien species list. Just because it's very difficult to remove a species from that list because it costs a lot of money. You can go to court and you can fight it. That's what we did. But we feel that the judge didn't understand a single word. We brought a very good risk assessment. We had a very good text to present to the judge, but something strange happened because it was the pandemic era, so everybody wanted to quickly finish things. You know, they didn't want that to be around for a long time. So they wanted to end quickly. So I think that the church didn't pay attention to it. So yeah, of course, if you read the text that our lawyer brought to the court, and you read the judgment, they have nothing to do. So we were astonished. So we had the feeling that the judge didn't pay any attention. So he said, these people are crazy. So if our scientists, if our civil servant says this is a invasive species, it must be true. It doesn't matter what these people say, because we couldn't convince the judge that their risk assessment was crap. Uh, Good question. Well, in fact, I know Spain is plenty of bull pythons in this very moment. What happens? People should register their animals, but the actual data says that nobody did. So people in Spain are keeping bull pythons, and I am pretty sure they are breeding them, they are selling them undercover. Just imagine if somebody tells you you cannot have your animals because they are invasive, but you are totally sure those animals are not invasive. People doesn't really agree with the law. So what's happening? The law means nothing to people, and people still keep those ball pythons. Of course, you won't see ball pythons in stores. They won't be offered in internet, but you still can buy those animals, I'm pretty sure. Yes, and this is what is going to happen with positive lists. Just bear in mind that if somebody tells you that you might not have the species you have been keeping for 20 or 30 years because they are dangerous or maybe a threat to biodiversity, you won't believe them. So you will carry on, so you will ignore them. I think that the law hasn't been enforced. I don't know anybody that has been fined for keeping those bull pythons. Well, the law is exactly the same it was 2 years ago. So why is people being harassed by the authorities? It's just because there's somebody who wants it to happen. CITES officers in Spain were working for the Ministry of Trade and Industry, but the responsibility, the competences was transferred to another ministry. The ministry has a flamboyant name, the Ministry for the Ecological Transition and the Demographic Challenge. They decided that the law should be interpreted in another different way. They misinterpret the law, but in a very ill way. And they decided that what was allowed the other day should be prohibited. And there's a new law that was passed at the end of March, but it will come into force at the end of September. A very different law. And there will be positive lists, but positive lists for almost everything. There will be positive lists for fish, for invertebrates, for reptiles, mammals, birds, almost everything. There will be a ban for reptiles weighing more than 2 kilograms. There's one exception, tortoises. But imagine you have a green iguana, big tegu, it will be forbidden. We asked the government why. They answered they didn't know. So you have to be ready for that raid. Well, I think that the only opportunity we have is to wait for a change, and the only change that we can expect is a change next December, because we have an election in Spain. We want a new government, and we have had lots of conversations with the other parties, different from the Socialist Party, who is ruling in Spain right now. And they don't support the animal rights code. Those laws are not aimed to animal welfare. and they are very difficult to enforce. It's almost impossible. They need a lot of money to be enforced. They are unenforceable, they are unfair. People won't simply obey. So the best thing to do is to simply take them away. In Spain, if you want to take a law away, the only thing you can do is wait for another parliament and for another law. And we have done a very hard job with politicians in Spain, because we have had the opportunity to talk to many of them, to explain them that animal welfare has nothing to do with animal rights. And I think they have understood that. No, absolutely not. The problem is going to grow and grow and grow. But why? Because everything will be bureaucracy, and that's what they are looking for. Make it complex, disencourage people. So if you want to keep animals, you know you'll have to face a huge bureaucracy. You'll have to fight for your animals. And you have to tell the politicians that animal welfare is not the same thing as animal rights. It's very different. Animal rights mean bureaucracy. Animal rights is not welfare. Well, there are two or three things that you may do. The first one is self-regulating. So first things first, you have to be very aware that animal rights groups will be behind you. So you must provide to your animals the highest welfare available. Second thing, you have to join forces with other people. For example, bird people, fish people, you are their target as well. And I think that the third thing you should do is to support the organizations that are being the face of the fight.
If you love reptiles and you care about reptile welfare, then why not become a responsible reptile keeping member? For the price of a cup of coffee, you can receive a whole range of membership benefits, such as our free quarterly magazine, responsible reptile keeping mugs, t-shirts and window stickers, as well as discounts from selected reptile retailers. To find out more, head on over to responsiblereptilekeeping.org.